GM, welcome to post-yama monies. I must give full credit to Dwayne and Duckwax for making the whole procedure. A lot of stuff has changed since old MaxF. All for the better. The one down bloat potential is now around 86%. The Maiden is consistent and way faster than normal, even though you only do one dinhs, which I'll explain very, very soon. And then because of bounce tech and one down reds, you're also going to save about 10 to 12 seconds of raid there. In Vintage, there are plenty of teams getting consistent sub-13 runs, which is just insane. The amount that top fours has been pushed because of these new setups and new procedure is crazy, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you enjoy learning it as much as I did. And so this is the Mdps setup. You'll notice there's 6 necks. The 1 dose divine range is on purpose. You sip this going into Nilos. Everything in there is on purpose. Everything is needed. This is the Mdps setup. The main differential in these Maidens is the Surge Potion. Through using this, we get 4 ZCBs, and so instead of doing double dinhs like you used to, we're only going to do a single dinhs and a ZCB as a melee, and every other roll is going to be pushing procs. This means that the damage will come from the barrages rather than chins, rather than dinhs, rather than anything else. You still chuck 3 chins, you still chuck 1 dinhs, but that's just for consistency's sake. In fact, because you're pushing the procs so fast, the barrages are going to keep hitting the clump, keep hitting the old crabs, and keep procs pushing. And it makes for the Maiden so nice and so consistent, as you'll see here. So for procedure here, we're going to entry with a ZCB or an accurate T-bow hit, making sure we keep our range gear equipped. This is so we don't drain our melee stats, because our ranger is going to be doing the duo entry, losing a tile, but not actually losing any ticks. This is so that they don't get drained, because they have to spec, and they can't one-tick their switch. So here we are, just switching 2 items at a time. This is because of the new Oath Plate armor. We actually have to do a 2-way instead of a 1-way ZCB like we used to. You'll notice here that the South Mage is freezing N1. This is just so it gets clumped for the dinhs hit. And we're just going to scythe until 50s here. Make sure you def charge before you enter the room as well. As you'll see here, normally you have to surge pot. So I'm going to do scythe, dinhs, make sure to redo your stats, and then it's scythe ZCB. Making sure to surge pot for that ZCB. But because I double death charged, I actually got it without the surge, which means that I gain a chally for skip. Anyway, here the crab spawn, making sure to hit the lower of the 2 crabs here. This is just because our cutoff for them is about 40 HP. If they're higher than that, then we're going to have to swing them, which is annoying because we lose damage off Maiden, but it also means that we guarantee the skip, especially with the extra chally we just got. So we're just scything Maiden now, procs are pushed, crabs leaked fine, and then yeah, we're going to skip here, and a good Maiden, showing the new procedure. It's very, very strong, very, very nice. Now on to bloat. Make sure the first entry in this instance is mage, enters first, spawn your thrall, do a ZCB hit around the corner, and then we put our BGS on. Make sure you're at the end tile, and then wait till there's true tiles 1 past the pillar, as I do here. Then we're going to BGS, and then check the defense. I left it at 16 here. I probably should have double BG'd because people are going to ZCB, and so 0 defense actually matters quite a lot. But here we are, just making sure we get our necks on. Self licking if possible, because the difference of it is I think 8 max hits between self hitting and not self hitting, but obviously living is priority. If you're not comfy, just make sure you live. The Bale HP percentage here is as bloat's about to stand up. If he's below 10%, you stay and you win the 86% chance. If he's not, in this instance, you leave. But my team all left way before I did, and I didn't want to like gigafly them, so I worked out that I probably just about have enough HP, and with that ticky I did. Winning the bloat, and I was waiting the second down. So the question I always get here is Swift, Sulfur, Max. Use whatever you want. It's preference at the end of the day. If you prefer one thing, use it. If you prefer another, use it. But I personally believe that in 4's melee DPS, Swiftblade is just better. And if you're going to use the best of the best, use it on Slash, because with Oathplate it is better on Slash. But if you prefer hearing Thunk, you use that on Stab. I used it on Stab up until like 2 days ago because I was getting bullied by my team. And yeah, so I've learned it on Swift. I've learned it on Slash now. I've learned to like it. And then yeah, early waves don't matter too much. Just make sure you're hitting your important bigs. The only really important thing is after saying this 8 here, you want to ZCB spec the 9. This is so you double death charge afterwards, and you'll gain Scythe into a Chally, and then a ZCB as well at the boss. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, just do your rotation. Hitting the splits here. Make sure you hit your 11 mage, which is what I'm going to do here. That's dead, so that we can clean up smalls again. Just staying in the west and south as melee DPS. Waiting for splits here. Hitting the range split, hitting our 12s, and just hitting our rotation. Important things to note are not stalling pre-caps, so that's up until wave 20. And yeah, onwards, you just need to kill your important bigs. So you're 26 when it gets to the pillar, 29 when it comes into the room, and then 30 smalls, because you cannot let them change. But anyway, I'm hitting my proper rotation here. We'll hit the 17 immediately, killing the splits before pre-cap stall, which is why you see me saying here. Now we're going to stand one tile back and hit the 19. Instead, I go for this small, which was a bad decision. I should have just stayed and waited for the 19. I lose another tick, which means I don't even hit it in the end. But it dies as it comes in, which is absolutely fine. Killing the smalls again. We're going to back up blowpipe this 20 here, and it doesn't die, so I am going to scythe it, which is unfortunate RNG, is what it is. You go next. Hitting these 21s as they come into the room. I believe I lose a tick here, which is why I scythe them a tile back. And because I do that, you're meant to blowpipe the 22 and then swift it as it comes in. But because I lose an extra tick, I just blowpipe something in the room and then swift it as it came in. And then, yeah, back up the 23 for the ranger. Killing the range splits here, backing up the 24 for the ranger as well with a blowpipe. Going back to killing splits. We want to first stick this 25 as it comes into the room. And then you're going to back up the 26 with a sang, which the major does kill. So we're just going to swift smalls. You don't want to immediately kill this 26, you want to wait till he gets the pillar, or 3 ticks after it enters the room, which is why you hit splits. I've got my dim on 27, this gives us 250 waves. You can set it to 27 offset 4 for 252. Just make sure that if you pre-cap before wave 28, then your waves will be a cycle later for every single stall you do. Anyway, cleaning up south here, as Mdps does. Hitting the 29 on the way, just to not lose many ticks. If I didn't kill it with Swift there, I was going to hammer it, but yeah, it dies. And then we're going to get 252 waves here, which is absolutely fine. Probably better than average. I don't know, maybe. Just make sure you're doing armor takeoffs and doing your waves properly. It's the one thing that good teams really want you to do well, and Vintage gets mean for. So we're going to scythe into Chally, or I should have Challied. I did not for whatever reason. And then, yeah, we are just going to hit our rotation here. Oh, it's because I didn't double Jeff charge. I forgot to double death charge, which means I just lost the Chally. So remember to do that. And then, yeah. So imagine I Challied at the start here. And then we're just going to do our Nilo boss rotation as per normal. Make sure we do armor takeoffs. It's an unfortunate boss. You can pre-switch half. So I pre-switch into range, turn onto range prayer, and then just one-way the scythe if it is melee. And then make sure I get my prayer on. The defensive prayers don't matter too much. If you die, you die. Offensive prayers take prio, in my opinion. Hopefully killing here, which we do. And that's the Nilo boss. Actually, one of the most skillful things in the raid that I suck at. So as melee DPS, you're going to be specking 1 and 2. And the only thing that's really notable is learning how to step off on 3. And also just how to run the maze properly. Because if you're not running it properly, you will just wipe the team every now and then. And just make sure you're venging properly as well. It's actually so crazy how much of a difference vengers make in a team that doesn't do it versus a team that does. It's so noticeable. So we're going to take a double venge off rip. And then we've got sharks to heal. That's the beauty of melee DPS. You buy plenty of sharks to heal in the maze. You see, I always have 3, 4, 5 a raid. And that's purely for Vengers and for here. So we're going to immediately spam click that corner tile. And this will put us on a good tile. It means we can run all the way across the maze. And then we're just going to insta-send. And so here, as I was saying before, off on 3. You see how the glass guy didn't even run the rest of the maze. Is because he knew it was an off on 3. Making sure we equip our hammer and spec. And then once that's done, the rest of it's easy. Make sure we don't lose ticks. Just doing our job as a melee DPS. It's great. Just doing some DPS. Taking our Vengers, as I said before. Note that if you heal other people, so you can take Vengers, if you only have 11 HP, it will heal them a 7 and only take 1 HP off you because it will not take you below 10 HP. Skipping the wall here, always nice. As you can see, spam clicking the same tile I did before. Mark it if you want. Don't if you can't be bothered. The tiles I have marked currently are for perfect top. Ignore those. Make sure not to walk tiles like this guy did, because as you can see, we lost the whole cycle. If he didn't do that walking tile, we would have saved 2.4 seconds. Not that it's that deep, but, you know, it always feels clean whenever you do raids without making mistakes. Not flaming, just point it out. Watching Avenge timers, as always. Unfortunately, here we waste a load of sharks, because we didn't even get that many Avengers off. Yeah, just unfortunate. Just doing the rest of Sote, as per usual. Me being IE and AFK, usually just talking to chat, I will take loads of damage here. But if you're actually locked in, Sote is free as a rat. Yeah, killing it as per usual. Enjoy. Now for supply purchasing, just make sure you buy 2 restores, 3 brew. The rest does not matter. I think I just left the sharks for the sake of it. You won't need to use them. 3 brew, 2 restore is all you'll ever need. Alright, for exhumes here, once you're standing on exhumed, that is yours. You do not move to the next one. I see people do this all the time and it's so stupid. You'll see why in a minute here. I think I chose a decent little example for it. So you see here, I'm covering his side because he's on one. Grab the one in my corner. And then he's going to grab... You see how everyone's just kind of covering each other? Like here, I'm just hovering because he's just gone for one. I'm hovering because he's just gone for one. I'm hovering because he's just gone for that one. I then grab the next one next to him, and then you'll see here, he'll cover the one next to me. If I'd ran to that new one, it would have all been shambles. The only issue is there, I lost one heal because I thought he was just going to farm it, but he did not. Anyway, your specs here, one hammer, one beach. Yeah, as I say, learning procedure is really, really nice, and it's very obvious when people don't know procedure because the boss will heal loads, and you'll get really good consistent xarps if you do. But anyway, just learning 5 tick is very important as well, because otherwise you'll just -1 tick every cycle, which actually amounts a lot. Anyway, just staying in cycle here. Boss is nearly always going to be 0 defense with the specs we do. Very unfortunate if you have to get a Ralos in. But yeah, so long as there's a melee DPS, you're doing 1 hammer, 1 beach. The world's going to keep spinning. The world goes around. As I say, make sure we're 5 ticking. Everyone's got their own side. Easy as. And then yeah, you need to learn how to do 2-2-1-2-1. I count the actual specific ticks because I'm a big old nerd. But yeah, whatever method works for you, it's definitely important to learn rather than just, you know, winging it. And so yeah, I know someone tick 3 and 2, which means my next tick's going to be on tick 5, which means my next tick's going to be on the first tick, available tick here, which means I'm on 2-2 cycle now. So the first 2, and then I'm going to do the second 2. Sorry if this doesn't make sense to you, I'll make a guide at some point. And then yeah, as you see here, as the boss dies, I'm switching Light Bearer on. Very important to remember to do that. And you can pre-swap, spellbook swap as well if you're going for overall time. And yeah. So for Verzik, what we're going to do is we're going to do Scythe, Dawn, Scythe, Scythe. As you see here, making sure we have the Light Bearer on, as I said before. And then as we do our next Scythe, we're going to run back to the pillar. You're going to Blowpipe on the way in. You see here I change off Sang to Blowpipe. And we're going to do 3 Scythes. So we're doing 1, 2, I tick fix, so I lost a tick on the Blowpipe. 3, and then we're going to do 2 Dawns. As we do the first Dawn, we're going to do a Surge Pot. And then insta drop, and then we're going to do 2 more Scythes. If it's below 3%, we're going to do an extra Scythe. If it's above 3%, we're going to pick up Dawn and Spec again, but it is not, so we're going to keep Light Bearer on, and we're going to regen all the way to 100%, as you're going to see here. Now the reason for this is because we're going to do the first version of 1 down reds. So you're going to see here, I hit on the final tick, it's deep, and so because we've regened all the way to 100% Spec, we're going to get a double claw. And so instead of doing the thing where you stay at the boss, we're going to go back. Verzik aggro's us, which is good, means no one gets bounced, and we're going to switch rings as soon as we get to 100% spec. And then because we get 2 specs, we don't actually have to stay to save that tick. So we're going to do a double spec, 2, and then we're going to hit on the final tick here, never forget, and we did not get the skip. But yeah, that's how you do the first variation. And so yeah, as you see here, I'm doing the same thing. So it's Scythe, Dawn, Scythe, Scythe, and then Blowpipe, 3 Scythe, 2 Dawn, 2 Scythe. And yeah, the other thing I forgot to mention in the other bit just before is that you're always going to death charge as melee DPS, no matter what you do. So whether you actually use your last spec or not, it doesn't matter. You're always going to be the one death charging. So here, you're going to see I'm going to do the double Dawn. As I do it, I'm going to Surge Pot, drop Scythe, drop Staff, and then yeah, we're going to do 2 Scythes. If it's below 3%, we're not going to do another Staff hit, but you see here it's 6%, so we're going to do 1 more Dawn, and that means we're going to regen 1 Claws. And then yeah, this looks like this. So as Verzik spawns, we're going to Scythe, and then we're going to stay at the boss for 1 down reds. One person's going to get bounced, which unfortunately is me. You can opt to ZCB here. I don't like doing it. I just like losing the 4 ticks. And so we're going to be 1 tick ahead of everyone else. But look how good this damage is. We're not even close to missing it. We had a whole other Scythe swing each after that. Just showing how free the 1 down reds really is and why you should be going for it. And then yeah, just heal up. Obviously I only have 1 super combat, so I just had to heal up properly. Yeah. And yeah, I'm going to show you what it looks like when you're not the one that gets bounced. So as you see here, we're all going to stay at the boss, as I did just before. And then that player's going to get bounced. We're going to Scythe, Spec, and then just Scythe. And then when you normally would have to step back on your last one, you're just going to stay at the boss, which doesn't even happen here. So we'd have stayed at the boss for the next swing. And that's how to do it. Oh, and if you're wondering how silly these Verziks can get, we got 2nd place Verzik in a money raid. Like, I haven't done many of these, and we've nearly hit a record Verzik in monies, not even with, like, proper tech or anything. So, yeah, get used to it. These Ziks are so worth it. These raids themselves are so worth it. I mean, you can just look at my reaction, bro. Like, I haven't seen that. I haven't been happy in ages. But, yeah, that's the melee DPS guide. And now this is the range setup. Don't change anything. Leave it as it is. And, yeah, for the Morph mix, The reason is because if everyone DD tickies at bloat, you will gain the AHP. It's a DD ticky. Everyone gets hit by it. It means you can survive an extra couple flies. And then, yeah, the one dose divine ranges on purpose as well. So because every team I'm ever a part of needs a melee DPS and never needs a range, I've only ever been able to do one raid of these as a range. So I do my entry completely wrong here. I lose 2 ticks off the rip, which is why I don't TPO pre-fire. It's so unfortunate. And then I tick fix, but my teammate also loses a tick on purpose so that we're on the same tick. And so I end up tick fixing just to lose that tick again on purpose. But yeah, so just ignore the 70s proc. It's 0.6 seconds slower than it should be. That is completely my bad for misclicking at the start. Anyway, we're going to be switching 2 weapons as we were before. This is because of how the drain works now. You have to do a 2-way instead of just a 1-way like you used to. Here, we're just waiting until 50s proc. Once 50s proc, we're going to swing S1. We've already pre-death charged. And so we're going to swing S1. We're going to throw 3 chins at the clump. Make sure it's only 3. And then from this, we're going to get double death charge. And then through the double death charge, we can do the 3 chins into a ZCB. And then just scythe until the boss dies. That's literally it as a ranger. You do scythes until 50s. Then as 50 spawn, you scythe the S1. And then as 30 spawn, you can also scythe the S1 if it's high like I did just there. 3 chins and a ZCB. And then just make sure you get the skip. And you are absolutely swimming. Easiest win of your life. Onto bloat. And then, yeah, as I said before, ranger uses surge pot at bloat and at Verzik. So now for the ranger's bloat entry, you're not entering first like you used to. I don't know if you've done old monies or not, but yeah. So we're going to do ZCB hit, and then we're going to rag and do another ZCB hit here, and then we're going to do one more ZCB hit. And then we're going to go onto this tile here, do one more ZCB hit, and then we're going to immediately scythe on the way in, and then you're going to be necking with the melee DPSer. Just make sure to dodge hands, switch to your south if possible. I didn't have enough confidence. And then, yeah, we're going to use Claw and a Surge Pot for ZCB. So you see here, I've Clawed, then we're going to Surge Pot, and then we're going to ZCB. This just means that the 1 down potential is 86%. As you see here, this is how free the bloats are. We still all had another swing in us. And yeah, we stay winning. Anyway, on to waves. So, same as melee DPS, we're going to be ZCB specking the 9. So you're going to see here the early waves, which is doing our thing, hitting our pre-fires. We're going to blowpipe 4 into T-bow 5. But I think, from memory, yeah, the melee DPS kills my 5 here, which completely screws me over. I don't know what to do. So I'm filling with a claw scratch. You know, and then I'm about to fill with another. Then a ranger spawns. I'm all over the shop, mate. It's not great. Don't even have my skirt on. Anyway, T-bowing this. We want to kill bigs early. And then, yeah, as I say before, we're going to Sang 8 and then ZCB 9. And then double death charge for the specs. This just means that, yeah, we regen properly. So here, we're looking to fill. I thought there was a Sang for some reason. I'm not sure why. And then we're going to chin west. We're going to chin south. If one of them doesn't die, then we can double chin it. We'd never hit east. That is for our melee freeze. If the room's clear, you can Sang that 11. I opt to death charge instead. And then with this 12, you want to wait 1 tick, so it's just in the room. The reason being is because if your west and east melees and noodle, they will not be able to kill their smalls, and so you will stall early waves, which is why you delay the tick. Anyway, hitting our rotation here, hitting the 15s, chilling the 16, and then we're going to Sang the 17, which spawns right here, and then just cleaning the room up a little bit, making sure everything's dead, and then we're going to T-bow the 18, which I think, again, the melee DPS does, and so I'm all of a sudden tick filling, which is fine. Hit the 19, after taking 19, you can clean your 18s, making sure all the bigs die, pushing the waves, getting the splits out early as possible, helping out there, hitting the 20 flicker, always want to hit that, and you get 3 blowpipes between the 20 flicker and your east doubles. I don't tick fill perfectly, it's just good, nice to know the tick fills. You don't have to do it perfectly every time, every Nolo is different. Then we're going to hit this T-bow flicker on the 22, then we get 1 blowpipe, T-bow south, and then we blowpipe the west, and then we're going to T-bow the west, which again the melee DPS kills, and again this screws me over. He shouldn't be doing that, but is what it is. Everyone has their own little variations depending on how the waves are going. And to be fair, the room was clean, so it wasn't the worst decision making from him. Clean the room now. We're going to wait for this 27 to come into the room because it's going to be a ranger. I'm on dim 27 for 250 waves. If you want to do 52, it's 27 offset 4. If you want to do 55, it's 28, as within my plugin guide video. So here, we're just cleaning the room a little bit, waiting for our big 30. and then we're going to hit that, wait for it, hit a fill, wait for it to flicker, and that'll put us on the right tick to hit both the 31s. You want to prioritize the non-split 31s. This is because they can change color, and they will if they're alive for more than 27 ticks. And if you do that, you're absolutely trolling. Anyway, as I said before, we're going to Scythe and then Chally as the boss spawns. I can't remember what the actual waves were. I can't really see, but yeah. We're going to Scythe, Chally, and then we're going to ZCB when we get it. Making sure we're passing Venges, making sure we're doing our role properly. Scythe, Chally, and this puts us on the perfect tick to do T-bow into ZCB, and the ZCB will land on the final tick. As you see here, oh, I forget to do it. So we're just going to do 2 more scythes, and then hope the next one's range. I'm sat talking to my chat, which is how I forgot. Which, by the way, I'm live pretty much every weekday on twitch.tv/s2l_OSRS. Check me out. Anyway, setting our rotation. This boss is a god boss. I don't think our damage is even too good, though. Like, it probably should be dead by now. I think we're just noodling. But yeah, you absolutely take these bosses. Our hits are phenomenal, and that dies before we even need to hit the mage. Anyway, that's the Nilo boss. So yeah, as a ranger, you're going to be specking 2-3, and because of that, I decided to enter the ZCB. This puts me on the same tick as everyone else, and it's pretty fucking nice when you hear the of the 110. But yeah, passing Venges, doing our usual thing, staying on the right tick. You see how everyone's on the same tick here. That's because of my ZCB entry. Making sure we don't die, because otherwise people just lose out on hammers, and also your damage from the scythe. Passing Venges, as I say, making sure they're coming off on cooldown. If I'd forgotten to do that one there, then it would have been sat waiting. It's in the middle, so I can send that maze. And I think this is a bad maze, so you'll just see me step off and indicate to the team to step off on 3. Yep, if you see there, that's an indication they should just step off on 3. You lose nothing from doing that, so long as your team are playing like human beings, which mine are, thankfully. And so yeah, we do our first spec here, and we're going to do our second spec on the next phase. Just getting through this phase now, making sure we stay venging. Absolutely important. It makes such a massive difference when you're venging properly versus not. You'll see here it might even push the proc. Unfortunately, it takes 2 zeros though, so we end up losing a cycle, whereas the venge could have even pushed it earlier. Making sure we get our hammer on for the first hit. You don't want to delay that hammer or anything, because otherwise scythes are going to be on high defense. Here, just making sure we get off on time. We actually get off on the perfect tick, so we save a whole cycle. Thank God we sent it properly. We're off cooldown here, so we're going to be looking to venge other people. I noticed that the range is coming, so I put my prayer on for the first mage hit. Passing avenge, and then I'm probably going to look to heal other. Yep, I know me too well. Just meaning that your teammate can take the venge. Every little helps, which you'll be able to do here, and you'll see that this is an incredibly fast Sote seg because of it. So as a range here, you're going to do 1 hammer and then no other spec, so you're just going to claw fix on Xarp's start. But yeah, yammering on again about P1 Xarpers, it actually makes such a huge difference doing procedure properly. Just the main thing to remember is if you're standing on an exhumed, you stay on that exhumed till it's done. And you just got to cover your teammates. You know, like, you got to rotate. You can't just sit in your corner static, otherwise you're just going to leak loads and loads and loads of damage. And it actually makes such a difference in the grand scheme of things. Every single heal is pretty pivotal. I say all of this, and I am just reading my chat while I'm streaming. So I do make mistakes here. I think here I just start reading chat and just leave a whole exhumed going, which is just IE of me. But, you know, everyone has their little conditions. The P1 is fast enough. Just make sure you part. As a range, you are doing 1 hammer, nothing else. You just keep your spec. You can't even Ralos fill or anything, so you're at the mercy of your teammates. If only 1 hammer hits on your first hammer, then just re-hammer. That's the only difference, but that's a very rare thing that you don't need to remember too much. So anyway, just getting in cycle here, doing the 5-tick cycle. You need to kind of just learn 2-2-1-2-1, which I'll make a guide on soon, and also just 5-ticking. It's very easy to learn, but it's worthwhile, because otherwise you end up losing so many ticks if you don't learn it. So we're just setting your rotation here, absolutely smashing it, yapping away, getting followed on Twitch, which, by the way, I stream every weekday. Have a look, check it out. I like to think my stream's somewhat entertaining. But yeah, staying in cycle, doing our thing, waiting for the screech, counting the ticks in my head, because we might be on a claw fix, which we are not, unfortunately, it looks like. So yeah, we're hitting on 4, which means there's a blowpipe hit, so that's going to be 3 and then 1, which means hit on final tick. And so this is going to be the 1, and then the next is going to be the 2, and then the next is going to be the 1 cycle. I'll make a guide on it at some point, but obviously because I claw there, I'd change tick. Yeah, I'll make a video on it soon. I count in a very different way to other people, so I need to do a lot of working out how to count effectively for you guys. But yeah, that's Xarp for you. So for P1 here is range DPS. You're going to do 3 scythes, 3 dawns using the adren pot, 4 scythes, run back, trident, 2 scythes. Sorry, I say trident, sang. But I've never done this roll before, so I believe I do it incorrectly here. I believe I just stay at the boss because I miscounted. I thought it was to 5 scythes, not to 4. So yeah, you're going to do 1, 2, and then 2 more scythes after this, and you're going to run back. 3, 4, you'd run back here, but I don't. I counted wrong because I had it up on the side. As you can see, I'm glancing at it. I just miscalculated it. I misread it. But it shows how easy and how good this P1 is, that you can take 1 extra hit and it generally makes just no difference. Just make sure you heal up properly. Get ready to do P2. I didn't drink my divine. There you go, I did it now. Which isn't good, but it is what it is. Everyone makes mistakes. I was learning a whole new P1, so whatever, sue me. You don't have to do any ring switches on this roll or anything, which is always nice. Just doing our bow properly, staying in cycle. The melee DPS will always hit purple crab, so make sure you're not taking it. The melee DPS, even though we took a while here, still did it, which is the thing that matters. And then yeah, just staying in cycle, making sure we do P2 correctly. We're going to be absolutely smashing it. And then remember to do bounce tech. I hope it goes correct here. I haven't actually pre-watched this VOD, but, you know, we're hoping. Here's hoping. Book swapping. This is in my P2 guide. Basically, as you do your final hit in your cycle, you control click and spellbook swap. And then that way you can ensure that you don't get hit by the green, and you can ensure that you actually get your spellbook swap off. So we're going to take fix here. And then we're going to go for 1 down reds, as we have been in the melee DPS VOD. So we're going to stay here. I'm not the one that gets bounced, which is great. Making sure to use our claws. You will have already a gem pot to even get your specs off, so it's not like you can forget to do that anyway. This looks like a Bale HP, which it is, so I'm going to claw scratch heal, and then final hit on a scythe. You don't have to bail if you don't want to. It's just useful to do it. And then I'm tick fixing, getting back in cycle. And then we're on to P3. Unfortunately, we didn't get the 1 down reds, because it is so satisfying. Making sure we eat up, making sure we've got thralls spawned, making sure we got everything sorted. Getting to our starting tile now. We are waiting for crabs. I'm going to be making a P3 tanking guide, hopefully this week, if not next week, so check that out. Tanking and also bowhacking. So here, we wait. Crab pops. Do a rotation just for practice. My team did not want to. And yeah, we're just in cycle. You lose nothing from doing the bowhack. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. It makes such a difference. Taking prayer off for the Venges is always a nice differential to faster Verziks. You see there the tank doing a chally hit to get back on tick, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we're going to absolutely swing this Verzik down. Just showing you quite how good these money raids really are. This was a one and done. I've only ever potted range once. And it's quite an easy roll, actually. Range has become significantly easier. The only roll that's become harder, I'd say, is melee DPS. Everything else is free as a rat now. Yeah. Congratulations on learning money raids. I hope this helped. Look how fast, man. And so here is the melee free setup. So the Moth Mix, this is for DD Tick Eat. It's the same as the Gothic's Rest, it just hits everyone in the DD. So it means if you all Tick Eat at blow, you can survive an extra couple flies. The Volatile Nightmare Staff is for specking on wave 3. This is so you get your Chally and also CCB on the Nilo boss. Anything else? Oh yeah, Sulfur Blades always get asked about. They're better than Max, and they're also better than Swift Blade as melee freeze and falls. In my opinion, just the way that cycles work out and the way that Nilo waves go as a melee freeze. Your entry as a melee freeze is going to be an accurate T-bow into a Ralos into an accurate T-bow. If the defense is higher than 60, then just do a double Ralos. Ralos is a 6-tick weapon, meaning that you don't do your second accurate T-bow. Instead, you just go straight to rapid, putting you on the correct tick. For the eagle-eyed of you, you'll have noticed that there's Chaos runes in the pouch rather than Soul runes. This is because you'll never, ever Blood Barrage in Max F top. Instead, if there's no S1 on 70s as there is here, you have the option to Ice Rush S2, clumping it. And as a melee freeze, you're freezing South 1, N2, 3, 4 on 70s and 50s, and on 30s, you're freezing South 1, N2, and then 3. This is because it's proccing a tick early, meaning you can't catch it all. Anyway, as you see here, if the Maiden's health is below 55.5. Do not bow again. But here it was above, so we got an extra bow. You got to use top predicted hits to see the accurate number. It's very, very helpful. Anyway, we're pushing procs here as per usual. If it's a slow Maiden, which this one is, you can use a ZCB to proc. I remember how I was saying before about how it procs a tick earlier. This is before that reason. So you're going to catch S1, N2, and then 3, and then leave it at that. When you're freezing 3s, make sure to click the south one. This is because it will hit the S2 if it's clumped. Anyway, now we're just going on to the skip here. And the skip is very easy. Keep your health, keep your prayer off. Keep your health high. Well, your teammates should be doing that. And just take the Vengers. That's basically Maiden. I know it's very complicated. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Maiden's become very complicated over the years, but cross-freezing is useful because it means that dinhs hits the N1 crab because the South Mage delays a tick. That's the reason you do it. So as a melee freeze, because you have the most gear and the least invent, you don't actually have room for next. You have room for one. And so for bloat, all you're doing is ZCB hitting. So if you look at the true tile, you just wait till it's halfway across the pillar, and then you pre-fire. That's literally it. It's free as ever. And then when bloat goes down, you're going to claw and ZCB. Unfortunately, blue salve, we probably don't have the invent for either. So you see here, he's going to go down. We're just going to entry with the ZCB spec. Usually, he'll be 0 defense. If he's not and you miss, it's just bad RNG. The threshold for leaving is 10%. So if bloat's health is above 10% as he's about to stand up, run away. If his health is below 10% when he's standing up, like here, you stay. And yeah, that's when you use your P-neck. Put yourself back on after you proc, and yeah, you'll win 86% of the time. So yeah, as you will have noticed by now, this isn't my VOD. You might have even seen me logging out earlier in the raid. The reason being is because my Nilo waves as a melee freeze absolutely stink. I should be banned from the HM spellbook. I haven't done Desert Treasure 1 pretty much. I just touch DPS. Not like that, you know what I mean. And so I'm letting someone else who knows more about it do the role. I'll have full write-ups in my Discord though if you ever need it, and if you ever want VOD reviews, I can do a melee freeze VOD review. Weirdly, just 'cause I've seen so many of them. But yeah, so if you ever want a VOD review, put them in my Discord. Me or one of the other fucking professionals will have a look and give you some feedback. But yeah, your basic job, you just follow the lead. The big thing is on the 10, you hit the rangers. On the 11, you barrage the wave, and on 12, you scythe. You're basically just sitting on east and east pillars the whole way through, and that's kind of just your procedure. Nothing more really to it. You actually have a lot of switching to do, and that's the reason that you actually take Makwatls or Sulfur Blades over the Swift Blade. It's because a 4-tick cycle actually benefits the melee freeze massively. So we're going to hit this 17 here, clean up in between, and then kill the 17. 18 you're not going to touch in the lane. You're just going to clean smalls in the room. And then 19 you're going to step back a tile as he does here, and first tick it, or second tick and standing at the door is also fine. The reason you stand back is so the splits come properly. You see there, and so they don't actually appear on the wave check, which means that you won't stall pre-cap, because the number of Nilos that could be in the room before 19 is 12, and after 20 it's 24. So you want all the splits to come out afterwards, and when you kill a big, the splits come out. Anyway, 23 you're going to pre-fire, then you're going to get one sang, and then you're going to pre-fire 24. 24, and then 23. God. And then you're going to pre-fire 24 south, and then you're going to hit the melee on the west, and then you got more mages come in. So this 25 you're going to hit as it comes into the room if the major doesn't kill it. 26 you're wanting to first tick, and then the 27, if you first tick the 26, you want to step back one tile and then hit it. The same reason as for the 19, it's just for the splits. You want them to come out at a better time. Anyway, this 30 that's coming out is the major's roll. You're just backing up if he really noodles. And for cleanup, you're cleaning up the north side. So just get with it. Keep the room clean. Copy what he's doing. Copy the waves guides that I'll have in my Discord. Or send reviews will help you out. But yeah, the key things to know are stay on the east until it's cleanup time. Then you're cleaning up the north side. He could have probably played it a little bit better, but it's what it is. Everyone's at different stages. He's a gamer. Just do your best. Anyway, for the Nilo boss, because obviously we surge potted in bloat, you're going to do the usual Chally and Scythe. And the reason for the volatile nightmare stuff, sorry if I've completely forgot to mention it, the reason for the volatile nightmare stuff is because you spec on wave 3, I believe, and this gives you the same way that ZCBing the 9 gives you Chally and ZCB. It's the same thing here. It's just so you get both. Anyway, I wouldn't blowpipe fix this late into the boss. The reason being is because if you're hitting on the final tick and the boss dies on the final tick, you actually lose the whole cycle. So I only ever tick fix near the start. But because you're challying so early on, it's very unlikely that you'll ever tick fix at the start. Anyway, here, clean boss, clean switches. Always make sure you're doing prayer before switches. 2-way or 4-way is fine. And yeah, that's it. Anyway, on to Sote. Your spec is 1 and 3. Same with other roles, make sure you're stepping off on 3 on the maze, making sure that if you've got a left side spawn, far left, you wait a tick, mid left, you insta-send, mid, you insta-send, mid right, you can insta-send, and then far right, you wait a tick. Depending on your team's aura, you know, if they've got low aura, negative aura, then wait a couple ticks, but, you know, we should be getting used to insta-sending, and, you know, if you're also struggling to catch up, getting used to fixing it. So this guy shouldn't wait here, but he does, gives the tick of leeway, which is very valid. You know, at the end of the day, we are just doing money raids. It usually won't save a cycle, but you never know. And as you can see here, he's specking 1-3, so we're not going to spec out of the maze. Just waiting for our team to give us Venges as well. This is why Mage is terrible and, you know, DPS rolls are on top, because you get to control Venges, you get to do all the fun stuff. As a melee freeze, look at him. Little gimpy boy, just sat at 97 HP. How boring. But these procs are great. I wouldn't take prayer off there. But that's just me. You've got plenty of prayer. There should be no reason to take it off. But everyone's different. Also, run the maze properly. And yeah, off on 3. Just make sure you have the Sote instance timer on your top QOL. It will occasionally save you cycles. And also, in actual max F, people don't run the last tile because it makes absolutely zero difference whether you run it or not. And so for Reese, for them getting out the maze faster, they won't run it. Which is actually weirdly tech. Yeah, try not to eat sharks, try not to F up. It is what it is. Clean Sote, just do your best. Yeah, nothing else really to it. 1-3, do procedure, bosh. Back onto the old Xarpers. So now exhumes are very, very slept on. They actually make a massive difference whether you do them properly or not. And so here, you know, we're just making sure that we stay in our corner to start with. And once you step on an exhumed, you stay on it until it's done. Covering your teammates. Falls exhumes are the hardest by an absolute landslide and the most skillful. So you see here, we're covering our team. When we stand on one, we stay on it. You never ever leave. You know, if you're in moody raids, I'm sure someone would have run straight to that exhumed, which obviously is not the move because you just end up leaking a load. So learning actual exhumed procedure is it's very obvious when you raid with a good player versus not, because they'll do exhumes properly or not. There's a very few obvious tells, and exhumes are one of the most obvious because obviously you're chilling and it's just so clear who knows procedure and who doesn't. So that's my top tip of the day. Learn how to do exhumes properly. If you're on one, stay on it. This is for 4s. Every different scale is different. And then yeah, your specs here. It's going to be a hammer into a scythe, and then if you need to back up with a Ralos, then you might have to. But usually you shouldn't need to. And if you're going to back up with the Ralos, you need to do the full switch. Unfortunately, it just makes a massive difference. Yeah, anyway, just sticking in our 5-tick. Fun as ever. Nothing really to say. You got to learn your 2-1-2-2-1 at some point. Start learning them when you're doing money raids. It doesn't matter if you die. It's what it is. Yeah, and as you can see, team are absolutely smashing it. And then just learn how to get into cycle. So I call this tick 4 because it's Zops' first, tick 3 because it's Zops' second, and then tick 2 because it's the last available hit, and then I call the 5-tick 1, and this is how I count. I count in a very weird way. I'll put a guy out soon. So that for me would be 4, and then it would be 3. So I'd normally blowpipe fix there, but he's doing fine. Staying on tick. Going to hit on the final available tick here. And he's in cycle. Doing the most. Remember, if you claw, then you go up 1. Yeah, as you do. Absolutely smashing it. Boring is a goat of the game. Yeah, Xarp is as easy as ever. Xarp and Sote, the easiest to learn. It's uniform no matter what role you're doing. The only thing that changes is your spec procedure. So as a melee freeze for P1, you've got arguably the easiest role. You do 2 scythes, a dawn, and then a scythe, running back to the pillar. Then you do sang, scythe, 2 dawns, drop, and then scythe until it's dead. The only thing you've got to remember is you've got a ring. Do not forget to put the ring on. It will absolutely cank you. Yeah, and then we're going to keep ring on until we get to 30% spec after the P1's over. So you see here, we're going to adren pot, do the 2 dawns as I said before, and now we're just going to keep this ring on until you get to 30% spec. When you get to that point, you switch it over back to an altar. And then this will give you claws, for the old one down reds, as you've seen earlier in the video. If you want a better explanation of the one down reds, the melee DPS probably has the best version of it. Anyway, here we're going to see east, but like instead of the west. That's the other benefit of using someone else's VOD. They're doing the east-north variation. The idea of this is that it's good for the purple crab. Because the melee DPS is having to pop it, putting the purple crab on the north side means that melee DPS can just run the crabs on west, as you can see, and then just stay north and pop the crab instead of having to get dragged around south side where there will be crabs from the east side. Other than that, the west bark is the east bark is the exact same as normal. As I say, just putting the purple crab there is very, very helpful for the melee DPS because he's always going to be the one death charging. As you can see here, Boring swapped the ring perfectly on time. We're now just waiting for red crabs. There should only ever be one set of purple crab in the P2. If you get two sets, you're very, very unlucky. But that's why all the team have split up. They're acknowledging which sides they're going to be on for the post-red crabs spawn. This stops any kind of blood rush attack, which, by the way, if you didn't know, the red crab... sorry, the red crab? Yeah, on the red phase here, if Verzik attacks you and you're standing next to someone, it's like a blood barrage. It will heal her extra. So it actually makes a massive difference. So staying here for the one down reds, as you can see, Boring got bounced, which puts him on a tick ahead of everyone else. You're basically minus 4 ticks by that, but it puts you on like a very nice tick, means you don't have to fix. And so here, damage is very good, so we're going to go for the skip, and they do manage it. Very, very big size at the end there. You know, taking prayer off here to take the Vengers off prey. Not the tank, so we're just going to be running straight north, ready to do the Boak again. Yeah, as I say, taking this first hit off prayer. Boring is tanking everything though. If you learn your switches, you can switch void here. I never bother. It's what it is. It's not that big difference. So long as you take your Venge, that's all that matters. Anyway, doing Boak. See a lot of crab spawn here, but when Boak's good, God, it feels nice. Perfect little pop from the boys here. Now just waiting for webs. Damage looking naughty. And again, yeah, procedure doesn't change for the roll here. I'm just showing you the full VOD because why not? Really, really good damage here. Into webs. And then, yeah, they're going to kill it for another quick time. I believe this raid itself was a 12:53, which just shows how good these money raids are. They've been labbed out about a week and a half ago, and I've seen countless sub-13s in 4s. It just happens all the time with this new procedure. It is incredible. And you can even get like sub-1430, sub-1440, 1240 with like really, really good luck. But yeah, look at that. All the boys PB in. Congratulations to them. Yeah, I hope this mfrz VOD helps. Apologies, it's not my POV. I just don't know Nilo Waves enough to, you know, feel comfortable sharing. GM, welcome to the mage setup. Yes, you need these snacks. Yes, this is why you've got mage void. Yes, this is the setup. Adren pot. Everyone takes their own 1 dose divine. This is the same as a Guthix rest. It's a DD tick eat for the whole team, meaning you can survive more things at bloat. So if you all tick eat together, you'll be able to survive an extra fly or two. Don't ask why I'm at next. I'm doing the speedrun cup, hence the KC. It's now 3 in the morning. We're about to be on day 3. How good? And yeah, got all the heart, got everything. This is the setup. It's beautiful. Just you wait. And then yeah, also notice the runes in the pouch. I'll get to that in a bit. So as a South Mage, your entry is always going to be an accurate T-bow into a Ralos into an accurate T-bow. Don't forget you're also starting the rooms. You're never, ever going to back up as S-Mage. This is because you're going to be ZCBing for the 50s push, which you'll see in a second. So after you do this, you're going to use your Adren pot here. So the melee DPS and the Mage use their Adren pots at Maiden. The other 2 roles use it at Bloat. Anyway, so here we're going to be freezing North 1, S2, and nothing else, and back up 3s if you need to. So we're going to delay a tick on the N1. This is so that the dinhs hits it. Freeze the S2, and that's going to be in clump because you delayed the tick on N1. And then we're going to look, if it's below 55.5%, you're going to ZCB for the 50s push. If it's above 55.5, you're going to do 1 more T-bow and then ZCB. You're basically controlling what the proc's going to be. And that's after you do, for a 12, it's going to be freeze, 2 T-bows, and then ZCB. If you're going for 15, it's going to be freeze, T-bow, and then ZCB. Anyway, we're going to do the same again, freezing 1, and then freezing 2, and then you're going to also freeze 4s on 30s. This is always going to happen because the proc should happen 1 tick before it would normally, and you're just going to insta-freeze those. You're not going to wait for them to clump. Anyway, getting onto Maiden now. Just keep your health, keep your prayer off, keep your health high. Well, your teammates will keep your health high, and just make sure they're venging you. If you die, it's their fault. Flinch if you have no venge, and the melee freeze has 1. And that's Maiden. So as a mage in bloat, you're going to be doing Ranger's old role. You're basically the entry. you go to the very far tile, and then you're going to BGS. If you hit a high BGS, you go again. If you hit a low BGS, then just do a scythe, and then go back and ZCB. This wasn't done correctly here. I think it's because he screwed up the entry. It's a little bit late. So I'll leave a little link in the description for the correct entry. It's just what the range used to do, so don't be surprised when you see the range setup. It is correct, do not worry. Anyway, yeah, bloat goes down here. Usually you'll use those next from ZCBing, and then as bloat goes down, use a claw, and same with the other rolls. If bloat's below 10% as he's standing up, you stay. If bloat's above 10% when he's standing up, you leave. And so you'll see here, bloat's below 10%, we're going to stay. The chance of you winning are 86% if procedure's done correctly, so you'll nearly always win bloat. It's amazing. Anyway, as you will have noticed, this isn't my gameplay. I should be banned from the Ancient Spellbook. I basically haven't completed Desert Treasure 1. As much as I can VOD review Nilos, which by the way, if you ever want a VOD review, join my Discord. I can VOD review anything, everything, or one of my buddies can. They're the absolute goats. Or join Vintage and open a ticket there. We do it all the time. We love helping people. Just pass it forward. It's obviously free, absolutely open to helping anyone. But yeah, there'll also be a Nilo Waves guide, which will be there. Read it before you send in any VODs, otherwise I'll just tell you to go read it. So we're just hitting the rotation as much as I can just about do my rotation from doing these VOD reviews. I'm not good enough, so I'm going to let the pros handle it. As this dies, cleaning the room now, because 10's about to spawn a load of rangers. Your job is just to hit all the smalls, and to back up any rangers that aren't dead. Insta take this first, this 11, and then barrage the south. Your melee freeze will do the east. You basically don't need to worry about east. Your melee freeze is basically your second mage. If you've got a good melee freeze, east side isn't really your problem, which is why you'll see a load more pre-fires being done by this major here. It is just following procedure perfectly. Room is looking unbelievably clean, and if it is, we kill this 15. Winning. Absolutely winning. And then you're going to be hitting south. Your melee and your range will hit west, and your melee freeze will hit east, as I was saying before. And then you're just going to back up the west if it doesn't die. Looking out for splits here. And then with this 19, on west and east, you have to step back a tile for it. But because of the travel distance on south, you don't actually have to step back a tile. So you can do it right at the barrier as a mage, which is so much easier. Just the little things you come to learn as time goes on. Weird little Nilo facts for you. I don't really know why I'm bothering telling you. Could have just told you procedure. Anyway, you want to be saying these 21s. I'm not sure what was going on here. Hitting the east. Hitting the flick on the 22 west. With the ranger, then hitting 23 after hitting this you'll be going south, hitting the 24 south, and then you're going to insta hit the 25 east. This gets back to where the melee freeze, so you do not need to stay on it. Then it goes 26 west. After hitting it once, you step back one tile, hit the 27 west. Reason being is just the splits good. I won't give you more than that. That's all you're getting. The melee DPS will back up the 26 if it doesn't die, but if it still doesn't die, obviously you got to kill it and prio it. It is an aggro, so it might die to venge. And then yeah, hitting the 30 here, you want to stay on this. If you're noodling the melee DPS, the melee freeze will help you out. And then yeah, just doing cleanup properly. Make sure to prio the south side. The melee freeze will prio north. Just clearing that all up. Room's looking clean. Good job. Proud of you. Anyway, on to the Nilo boss here. Part of the reason you surge pot so early on in Maiden is because you get the adren back. So if the first BGS is over a 20, you're going to adren and then ZCB. If the first BGS is under 20, you're just going to re-BGS. No need to adren. You may as well save yourself making potions, which by the way, Jagex, why have you made us do that? Anyway, as for the rest of the boss, easy as ever. Just doing the usual switches. Prio, obviously because you're using Void Mage, prio the range switch as like a mediator, so you're always going to switch into range after anything, and then either go into the mage set or into the melee set. A little bit more annoying and a little bit weird to get used to, but once you're there, you're sweet. And that's how to do the waves and the boss. How fun. Apologies again that it's not my POV. I'm just not very good at the old ancient spellbook. Anyway, on to the old Sote. Your specs here going to be backup. Other than that, you're sweet. So we're going to do a normal entry into a scythe. If they miss, if it's only one hammer or they both miss, you're going to back up. If you miss your backup, you're going to back up again. There's no shame in double backupping straight away, even if it's one spec. It makes your life easier, makes everyone's life easier. We play for potential, we don't play like idiots. So yeah, double back off the rip, and now we're just chilling. Obviously, if you don't need to back up, you just claw on P3. which is great because claws at Sote feel pretty gnarly because obviously, even if 2 hammers hit, he's still 100 defense. Anyway, procedure here, same with the maces as all other rolls. If it's far left, you wait a tick. If it's mid left, mid right, you insta-send. If it's right, you wait a tick. If it's far right, you might want to wait 2 ticks. It depends on the team. Just call out. If you're in voice chat, easier. You don't even need to wait if you're in voice chat, no matter where you are. Anyway, back doing procedure again here. Obviously, it's nothing to back up, so we're just chilling. The other thing to note is, obviously, if you get venged, use your venges. Don't be an idiot about it, though. And then eat sharks in the maze. And then, yeah, the other thing to note, off on 3, instant timer on top QOL, very helpful. It basically means that if you're on the last bit of the maze, you can skip the whole last row, which is phenomenal. As you see here, we're in the maze. Fantastic start. Just insta-send. Also, if you saw earlier, the tile he had marked on the outside, that's tile we're going to spam click. And you see here how he's just running off. This is because people are going to off on 3, meaning you don't take damage from the last row. It means we can get out of the maze faster. Everyone's a winner, basically. Very, very helpful, very useful to know. There's literally no reason to run the last row unless it just goes into your pattern. We're moving, we're grooving, absolutely smashing it, taking the venges. Obviously didn't need to eat the shark in the last maze. Probably going to end up dropping it anyway. Can look to Chally at the end. Absolutely chilling. Decent little so. Nothing really changes. Just learn your specs. Don't back up like an idiot. Do 1 scythe. Check the specs. Back up immediately. Exhume time, baby. Make sure you're getting them right. It's the very easy way to tell who knows what they're doing at top and who isn't. Don't be that guy. Pre-run to your side. When an exhume comes, stand on it. And then don't leave. It's as simple as that. Once you're on an exhumed, that's your exhumed. You see here? He's just going to stay on it. Obviously some toxic spawns, but it's just what can you do? Teammates should have probably been covering better, but it's what it is. Yeah, we stand on exhumed and we wait. That's literally it. You never leave it early. You never do anything early. You have the second one to pop up, wait an extra tick, and then you can move. Start time is around 40-something seconds, so, you know, if you're standing on 1 at 40 seconds, that's going to be the last one. You don't need to stress. See here? Because one appeared in between, you can wait that tick and then jump on the next one without leaking. But yeah, if you're on an exhumed, you wait till the end. Easy as that. That's only in 4s, doesn't apply for 5s and 3s. But yeah, good thing to know for 4s. Anyway, your specs here, going to be scythe into double beach. Just do this on default, doesn't matter what you hit. You can check what the melee DPS hits, but usually you'll just be defaulting double beach. Very nice if you can keep your spec, but it doesn't happen very often. And you know, if you end up sending a DPS BGS, there's no shame in it, especially when you're learning, getting in cycle and all of that. There is no shame. But yeah, just be careful as you get better at the game to not waste those BGS specs. Anyway, 5 ticking here. Must know for Max F. If you don't, you're trolling. And then the other thing you really need to get used to is 2-1-2-2-1, which is I'm going to make a guide on soon. Just you wait. I've got a P3 guide coming next week. Then some xarp guides maybe. I don't know. Depends what the people want. Leave a comment down below. And I've also got guides in my Discord, so get out those. Absolutely smashing it here. You know, teammate clearly needs to be retrialed. Getting reported. Very good comms. Absolutely smashing it. Doing the best. Doing God's work. xarp, obviously easy room. Same as Sote. Procedure doesn't change that much. The only thing that changes really is spec procedure. If you've learned it once, you've learned it for all roles. It's phenomenally easy. Just get 4,000 KC like me. I'm sure you'll never fuck it up. Even though I still do occasionally. But yeah, there you go. That's the xarp for you. So there's a major P1 here. You actually take 1 less auto than everyone else. So you're going to do Dawn, 3 scythes, starting the boss as per usual. And then after doing the 3 scythes, you're going to do a sang, 2 scythes. Same as normal, run back to the pillar afterwards. This is the most brain off roll. It's so ideal. You can see how brain off our fellow Frodo is here. Anyway, going to go back to the pillar, do a blowpipe, into 2 more scythes, and then into 2 dawns. Very, very, very easy P1. Just remember to stay. Don't be that guy who leaves after this. Do your 2 dawns, and then 1 scythe, and it should be dead. If you're very unlucky, the melee DPS will back up, but you shouldn't really need it. Very, very often at least. Anyway, you know, eating up, making sure our stats are easy, and then we're going to be going to the north, doing our boac properly, popping the crabs, absolutely staying winning. Phenomenal. Learn your boacs, don't ego them, it makes all the difference. Anyway, There's no ring flicks on this roll. There's no nothing. All you have to do is remember to adren, and then you'll be perfectly fine for the 1 down reds, which is absolutely amazing. This is because obviously you start with the first Dawnbringer, so your regen is free as a rat, as you can see here. Just doing procedure, making sure we're not getting bounced, staying in cycle, absolutely smashing it. Waiting for the red procs here, and you're going to learn 1 down reds. Absolutely pivotal for speed for max F these days, because you get it nearly every time. Same with the bloats, if procedure's done correctly, of course. Obviously, there's a big heal there, so not a great start. Learn your procedure, boys. Learn your procedure. If you have to leak a tick or two, then do it. Obviously, people are doing stuff incorrectly. There was a heal. Verzik was high, so Frodo just decided to ego the 1 down reds and just, I don't know, we're in shambles. Although he gets the ZCB in, which is kind of crazy. He has it like that. Anyway, we're going to be tick fixing here, or not. Anyway, just make sure you know what you're doing. If you don't get the 1 down reds, you're always going to get the 2 down. If you don't, then just leave raid and put your teammates on the ignored list. Finishing up P2 here. Going into P3, again, procedure doesn't change much from the roles here. The only thing is a couple of them have a ring switch. But Mage is the E-goal role these days. You heard it here first. Melee DPS is actually harder than Mage. Unless you're an S2 first tick freeze god, like the old Corks or Vuk, if you know them. Anyway, absolutely smashing this out. Getting ready to do Bark again. I'll have a P3 guide out next week. But if you're doing max F, you won't need it. Or you shouldn't need it at least. Just making sure we're doing this properly. Absolutely smashing it. A lot of crabs. All pop perfectly. All staying on tick. Swimming. How good is that? Keeping our health high. 1 super combat for every Sorrow brew sip. It's great. Look how weak Verzik is. We're eating. As I said before in the other VODs, I've seen so many sub-13s already. It's actually crazy how good this procedure is. And then, yeah, you'll see this Verzik fall over before Webs is even over. 1 hit before Webs is even over, even. Like, how crazy is it? Money raids feel amazing. Really, really give these a go. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope this video has helped. Shout out to Borin and Frodo for these VODs. They're absolute goats. Good luck with the procedure. If you need any help, my Discord or the description.